Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Archvillain bringing you gaming goodness, and I have just finished watching the latest video on Tabletop Minions YouTube channel, Uncle Adam, and he was talking about the latest or the new White Dwarf having the new combat patrol rules for the Imperial Knights and the Chaos Knights, and how shockingly cheap they are compared to the other combat patrols. This is for 40k, by the way, yeah? A game that I haven't played for years because I just simply can't afford it. But yeah, he was talking about how basically you can get these, like a combat patrol is basically two knights, whether it's the Armigers or the War Dogs, I think they're called. And he was going on about how, you know, a combat patrol is like $170, and these robots are like $95, shockingly cheap. And I'm thinking, you know what? I bet I can find some other models which are not GW that will serve the same purpose, possibly even look nicer, for less than $95. And I have. Let's take a look. So, as Adam Loper said in his video, going for a night combat patrol rather than normal combat patrol, it is cheaper, but it's still, in my humble opinion, way too expensive, especially as an introduction to 40k, for getting new players, for getting starters and stuff. I think it's still crazy prices. And also, I think Adam said in his video that the Night box sets were out of stock at the time of his recording and stuff. We keep on seeing it, you know, all these Games Workshop products out of stock, limited editions, you know, and all the scalpers are buying them and selling them for stupid prices, even more stupid prices. But we have a solution. There are other manufacturers, if you don't mind having non-GW models in your army, and as long as the place that you are playing doesn't mind that you're using non-GW models. And what we have here is something that I found. Yes, I did the pre-intro, the bit you just watched yesterday, and I spent all day yesterday printing out two equivalents for the Chaos Knights, because we have to go Chaos. These are models by Archvillain Games, and they are part of the Void Despoilers set. Now, this is found, I'll put the links down below. You can find it on my mini factory. It's a set of 5 models or 5 poses. But with a little bit of work in some cases, you can actually mix and match the arms and the legs and everything else. The bases, I don't think, are 100% necessary. Does use a lot more resin, but yeah, here we go. Archvillain Games, Void Despoilers. It is $15 for 5 poses. Now, of course, you've then got to print the things, and like I say, I spent the better part of yesterday printing these out because I've only got one functioning printer at the moment. The other one I have to change the FEP. But yeah, so in terms of resin costs for one despoiler, which is a torso, sort of the main body, 2 arms, 1 sort of shoulder weapon, and 4 legs. This came to about $4.50, depending on which one you print out. I think this one was about $4.10. This one was about $4.50, I think, to print in resin. The bases, yeah, the bases added another, I think, $3.50 in terms of resin cost. So you're looking at $15 as a payment for the files. There are 5 different poses, like I say, and you can mix and match bits if you want to. But if you don't want the bases, then these things are going to be absolutely really cheap and easy to do. And they look absolutely amazing. And again, in my humble opinion, they look better than the GW models. But that's just my personal opinion. You may prefer the GW. Not a problem. Everybody's allowed to like different things. So what do we have? Well, like I mentioned just now, you have a sort of main torso. Now, this one's quite nice because it's, I say it's quite nice. It's quite gruesome. It's got like a corpse on the front of it. It's also got like a maw, like a demon maw in its belly. You've got the locations underneath to put the 4 legs. For the legs, there are actually 2 sizes. You've got smaller ones for the rear and larger legs for the front. So these will just, they've got ball joints. So these will just pop into the front and the back. So they're quadrupeds, a little bit different to the Imperial and the Chaos Knights. But it can't be exactly the same, can it? And then you've got, okay, for these ones, it's got a shoulder-mounted weapon. So here would fit onto this little place at the top here, like that. Nice little shoulder-mounted weapon. And then you've got either 2 arms, or if we look at this one over here, we've actually got a gun, quite a nice little, or a missile pod launcher thing. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to quickly assemble these. I'm thinking that I won't fix them to the base because I want to paint them nicely. But I'll assemble the Despoilers, or the Knights, or whatever you want to call them, War Dogs, if you want to use the GW term. Let me get them assembled and you can see what they look like. Now, in terms of size, they should be about the same size as a Hellbrute, if you print at 100%. Because initially I was thinking about using these as replacements for Chaos Hellbrutes. But what I actually did is to make them more the same size as the Chaos Knights, the War Dogs, I actually printed these and the bases at 125%. And when I talked about the resin costs, that is for the 125% print. Yeah. If you print these at 100%, they're probably more suitable to replace the Hellbrutes. But at this size, as you'll see in a second, they're very good replacements for your Combat Patrol War Dog Chaos Knights. And we're back with the fully assembled vehicles, the Void Despoilers from Archvillain Games. And let's start off with the positives. These things look amazing. Smaller legs on the back. Move that one out of the way a little bit. Larger legs at the front. You've got an arm, sort of weapon arm on each side. They won't focus. These ones have a shoulder mount for a weapon. I think the other 3 poses don't have a shoulder weapon, but you've got various varieties of arms and weapons to choose from. Now, like I say, the positives are that these things look bloody brilliant. As Hellbrutes, or as, what are they called? War Dogs? Chaos Knights. They're brilliant. They look amazing. And on closer inspection, as I was assembling these, I'm kind of getting the impression that what I thought was the sort of torso is actually like a demon head. It's like a head on legs. You've got the sort of mouth here. There's like a tongue sticking out here. But it looks more like a head on legs covered in armor and plates and chitin and God knows what else. But yeah, the other one also came out really, really nice. Again, a different design. You've got like a cloaked head at the front here. This one I'd put a weapon on, like a missile pod. The other one has a claw. And again, this one has a shoulder mount with a different weapon on the top. Come on, focus. Not going to focus, is he? There you go. But yeah, and again, it kind of looks, looking up close as I was assembling them, it does kind of look as if it's a big fleshless demon head on, on legs. But again, you got a kind of head here, so I don't know. Open to interpretation, I think. But yes, these things came out brilliant. They came out lovely. But I printed these out at 125% because I wanted them to represent sort of Chaos Knights, I think they're called the War Dogs, rather than Hellbrutes. I think if you print these at 100% and like these 125%, I do think they'll be perfect for replacements or proxies for Hellbrutes or sort of Chaos Dreadnoughts. But for Knights, again, in hindsight, I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should have printed them a little bit bigger. I mean, we're looking at, I don't know whether you can see that on the camera. Let me move it to one side a little bit. They're just under the height of a knight. I think the Chaos Knights are about 105 mil. These are about 90 mil. So I think compared to sort of the standard Imperial and Chaos Knights from GW, I think these guys are a little bit smaller. This one's a little bit bigger by the looks of it. But I'm thinking that maybe printing these at 150%, maybe even a little bit bigger, would give a much better knight replacement. But I'm very happy with these in terms of what I'm planning to use them for. I'm not actually planning to use these for 40k. I'm actually planning to use these in another game, which I want to do later this year. But yes, I think for Hellbrutes and Chaos Dreadnoughts, 100 or 125% is perfect. For Knights, I'm thinking that 125% is a little bit low, a little bit small. But they can still do at a pinch. I mean, if I increase the scale to 150%, I'm not 100% sure if I could have done the bases. Because I think the bases sort of maxed out the plates. Now, speaking of the bases, these things caused me a bit of a problem. Trying to assemble the legs in the right position so that it would stand on the base gave me a lot of headaches. In fact, it's taken me 2.5 days to assemble these things, simply because of the legs. Yeah, everything else was fine. The arms, the weapons, everything went on no problems whatsoever. But the legs, to get them to fit on these bases in the right sort of position, with legs in the right place, and it was a struggle. I'm thinking that if you don't use the bases that they come with, if you use more plain bases, I'm thinking that these will assemble a lot easier. And also is another thing. Another reason why these are maybe not as high or tall as a sort of Chaos Knight is that when I was looking at the components, I was positioning the legs to give it a bit more elevation, to have the legs in a position where the sort of torso would stand higher. But what I found was that was a problem, trying to fit them into the slots and getting them to glue. It just wouldn't allow me to put them into a position where it was standing more upright. But those are just some things that I came across as I was assembling these, and maybe things that I need to highlight before you guys purchase and model these. But don't get me wrong, these are amazing models. Absolutely gorgeous models. Now, what if you're looking for models which are more in line with the GW designs? Yeah, the what do they call them? The Armigers and the War Dogs, the Imperial Knights and the Chaos Knights. What if you're looking for models which are more similar? Well, I have found another product. I haven't actually purchased it because when I was looking for the Knights, I kind of had to choose between these and this other one, but I went for these. But the alternative that I was looking at is by Dork Factory. I'll put some pictures up here so you can see. Dork Factory does have some more knight-looking models that you can purchase. And again, got to be honest, I do prefer the look of the Dork Factory ones to the GW ones. But they are definitely an option. I do have some Dork Factory models. Not these ones, obviously, but I do have some Dork Factory models and STLs. And I can definitely say that they print very, very well. The pre-supports are done extremely well as well. When I printed out my Dork Factory models, sort of the more sort of infantry type, I had no problems with printing them whatsoever. So yeah, that's there as another option. But I like these ones. I do like these, and as I mentioned, I was having a bit of trouble. I've got to be honest, I'm still not 100% sure if I'm going to put these on these bases because it was such a problem. It was a real problem. Positioning the legs, that's kind of that's kind of right, and then this one kind of, I think one of the legs goes there and kind of goes like that, sort of, maybe. Anyway, I'm not gonna paint these up for this video like I normally do. I normally show the components, the assembly, and then I normally show the painted, fully painted ones. I'm not going to do that with these because I want to get this video out fairly quickly after the Tabletop Minions video. But these are going to be painted and used again in another game series that I have planned for the near future. Fingers crossed. But guys, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. And like I say, this is a kind of response to Tabletop Minions and Uncle Adam and his shockingly cheap video where maybe these are shockingly cheaper. Right, guys, thank you once again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers.